light of your love is shining in the midst of the darkness shining. Jesus, light of the world, shine upon us. Set us free by the truth you now bring us. Shine on me. Shine on me.
Morning, as we get ready to worship together, I feel like I need to make sure that there's a clarification. I have the honor of doing chapel every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Thursday, Friday now. I have Ben Hayes that helps me out with that. Elementary chapel, that's the best time of the day. The elementary chapel with the little kids at school. And we sing some songs and we do some things. It's K4 all the way to 4th grade. And we just enjoy ourselves. And I had one of the teachers come up to me and say, "How many of you like to drink coffee?" We've got some kids that go to your church that are in my class that say, "You drink coffee while you preach." Harrison Grace fan. Here's to you. This is water. Grace Ann, you see this? This is water. It's what Harrison is water. And don't look at it. I do not. Can you see? I do not drink coffee up here. Although sometimes I feel like I might need. This is water up here. I may be an addict with coffee, but I think I can hold off for 20, 30, 45 minutes to an hour while I preach, so we can handle that. So if you got your Bibles, go to John chapter 9 for just a few minutes. John chapter 9. Very interesting story as we get here. We're going to look at this quest for an abundant life as we're looking at, as we see what our theme says. Live on, we're always expecting better. We had a great year last year, had a wonderful year last year. But this year, we're expecting better. And as we come to the text right here, as we come and look at what happens in John chapter 9, Jesus speaks of blind man. Well, the disciples really meet him first, it seems like, and they say, "Lord, this man's been born blind. Who sinned? What's the reason why he's blind? Did he sin while he was in the womb, or was it his parents that sinned that caused him to be blind?" And Jesus said, "Neither. That's not the case. That this man was born blind so that you can see the glory of God." So he comes to this man that's been born blind, and he spits on the ground, and he makes mud of the spittle, and he puts this spittle, this mud, on the man's eyes and tells him to go wash. And when he does, he goes and washes and comes back seeing. Well, there's a controversy here that happens. It's not because the man was healed, but it's because the Pharisees didn't like the fact that this man was healed on the Sabbath day. And what we have here is a situation that takes place in John chapter. I just want to go there. I want to review it really fast and see what happens. Verse 8 in chapter 9, "Therefore the neighbors of those who had previously seen that he was blind said, 'Is this not he who sat and begged?' Some said, 'This is he.' Others said, 'He is like him.' But he said, 'I am he.'" So he's coming across his neighbors, and all these people are saying, "Aren't you the man who was blind? Didn't you used to sit at the gate and beg because you were blind? No, you just look like the man that was born blind." And the guy is saying, "No, that's me. That was me. I used to be blind, but now I can see." And he's telling the story of what happened. When the Pharisees hear about this, this is what happens. They brought him who was formerly blind to Pharisees. Now it was the Sabbath day. They had sound effects with their scripture. That's when it would go dun dun dun. Because the Pharisees are really they're gonna really put some problems on this for Jesus. The Pharisees, it was the Sabbath when Jesus had made a play over the man's eyes. The Pharisees asked him again, "How is it that you receive your sight?" He said, "He put clay on my eyes, I washed and I see." Therefore some of the Pharisees said, "This man is not from God because he does not keep the Sabbath." Others said, "How can a man who is a sinner do such signs?" There was a vision. They said to the blind man again, What do you say about him because he opened your eyes? He said, he's a prophet. But the Jews did not believe concerning him, that he had been blind and received his sight. So they called his parents of him who had received his sight. And they asked them, saying, is this your son, who was born blind? How then does he now see? His parents said to him, we know that this is our son. We know that he was born blind, but by what means that he now sees, we do not know. Or how he opened his mind. Oh, he opened his eyes, we do not know. He's of age. Ask him, he can speak for himself. His parents said these things because they feared the Jews. The Jews had agreed already that if anyone confessed that he was the Christ, he would be put out of the synagogue. So, therefore, his parents said, he's of age, ask him. So they called him again, who had been born blind. Right? As you can see, this guy probably getting a little frustrated. And they're coming in there asking, are you the guy that was blind? That's me. And now you can see? Yeah. How can you see? Well, let me tell you, this guy came, and he made this mud, and he put it on my eyes, and he told me to go wash, and I went and washed, and when I washed off the mud, I could see. Strange thing. Really? So you were blind? Yes, I was blind. And now you can see? Yes. So how can you see? Well, just in case you didn't hear me, this guy I met, he put some mud on my eyes, and he told me to go wash, and then said, go wash. So I went and washed, and when I washed it off, I could see. Wow. So you were blind? Yes. And you can see? Yes. Get his parents over here. Is this your son? Yes. Was he blind? Yes. How is it that he can see? You're going to have to ask him. Because they knew that he kicked out of the synagogue if they answered the right answer. The man gets frustrated over and over. The Pharisees continue to ask over and over and over again. As you continue on, you can see, skipping on over to verse 35. Jesus heard that they cast this man out. The man that was blind. They asked him a third time, now you are blind. You were blind, right? Yes. Now you can see, yes. So you tell us the truth. How did this happen? And when he told them again, he says, I've told you twice, you didn't listen to me. If I tell you again, what's the use? Do you want to just hear the story again? And then he throws the loop and tells them, do you want to just, is it you want to be one of his disciples? Is that it? Makes them mad, they throw him out. So when Jesus hears that they throw this man out of the synagogue, Jesus heard that they cast him out. When he found him, he said, do you believe in the Son of God? He answered and said, who is he, Lord, that I may believe him? See, he had not seen Jesus yet. He had just knew that a man had done that. When he was blind, when his eyes when he put the mud on his eyes, he couldn't see. When he came back seeing, Jesus was gone. And Jesus said, you have both seen him, and it is he who's talking with you. Then he said, Lord, I believe. He worshipped him. Jesus said, for judgment I came into the world, that those who do not see may see, and that those who may see will be made blind. Some of the Pharisees who were there heard Jesus say these words, and they said to him, are we blind also? Jesus said to them, if you were blind, you would have no sin. But now you say, we see, your sin remains. Now as we get to this point, this is all built up for what we're going to talk about here in just a few moments. Here's a man who was really blind and couldn't see. And now he can. And here's a group of believers who can see the whole time. And yet they're the ones that are blind from the get-go. They don't want to see the truth. They're hiding themselves from the truth. But at the same time, they're claiming they No, he may not even be the blind guy. He just looks like the blind guy. And they try to rationalize over and over again in their own minds to try to figure out a way how this is not the truth. Now remember, a few minutes ago when we read in John 8, and we started the whole lesson off this morning when we started our worship, you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And some people really, we don't want to hear the truth, do we? We don't want to see what the real truth is. Because we think we have it figured out. See, Jesus said to these Pharisees, when he said that, the Pharisees heard it. They said, we're not blind also, are we? And Jesus says, since you say you see, you're blind as a bat. Your sin is ever before you. Now, there's so many of us that think we have it all figured out. And by thinking we have it all figured out and thinking we got it all lined out just right, we know exactly what to do and what we need to do it and how things are supposed to be and the way things are. And when we claim to have it that way, we're the ones that are blind. And we need to see. Jesus jumps immediately into the next text. Remember, chapters are given there. For us, this is not a chapter division. It's not a break. It's a flowing story that we have. Jesus goes right into that about him being the good shepherd. And as he gets into the story of the good shepherd, as was read as Bronson read a few moments ago, as he gets into that, he gets in there to that last verse that I had to read in verse 10, when he says, the thief does not come in except to steal and to kill and to destroy. But I have come that you may have life, and that you may have it more abundantly. Jesus says, you Pharisees, you're leading yourself down the wrong road of thinking you have it all figured out, thinking you have the way of life down pat, and you have your plan just set out, when really you're blind as a bat. You don't believe the true guy that comes in when he calls and the sheep follow because they hear his name. When the blind man hears, he follows. You don't want to hear. And he lets them know. There's an abundant life out there that so many of you and so many of us, we're not taking. We're not taking. I want to let you know that we have some truths that we need to make known here. Look at this. God is a plan. I put this in the bulletin in the inside. Maybe I didn't. I thought I had. It's in the covers. And this is on the cover of the bulletin. This passage in Jeremiah 29. It's on the wall as you go down here. It's one of my favorite passages. When you look at it, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. God says, I've got big plans for my people. I've got good things in store for you. Not plans for evil, not plans for distress, not plans for bad. I've got a future for you. I've got a hope for you. I've got a good life for you. See, to lay down a few truths as we get on this, and I'm going to lay it out in a minute, is we've got to know a few things, ground rules to have this abundant life. You've got to know that God has a plan for us to have this abundant life. He says there in this passage here that I have plans for you. Alright? Then we just read that there's a battle going on because he says that the thief comes in only to steal and to kill and destroy. But I came that they may have life and they may have it more abundantly. There's a lot of people coming into your life to rob you. Now, they may not actually physically hurt you and physically kill you, but they can. But there are people that are coming into this world, coming into your life, things that are coming into your life, and they're only trying to rob you of the true joy that's there. They're only trying to rob you of that abundant lifestyle that God has for you. The good life, the plans that God has. And when you don't listen to it, when you fail to see what God has and begin to listen to all these Pharisaic things that these Pharisees are saying, no, that can't be right. When you try to rationalize the truth, that can't be real. The thief is coming in to steal and to kill, but Jesus is coming to make life. So there's a plan and there's a battle going on in your life, whether you realize it or not right now. There's a battle going on for you to have joy and for you to have your joy robbed. That's it. That's it. For you to have a home in heaven and for you to not. For you to have a happy life and for you to not. There is a battle going on that's being waged, and a huge difference of that is how you view it. So as we lay this out, I put up here the quest for an abundant life, or the quest for abundant living. And I made that, I chose those words very carefully because I looked at maybe a journey. No. A journey gives the idea that you go from here, point A to point B, and you find it, and that's it. Or maybe a map. The map, no, that's not it either. But when you think of the word quest, that involves something it's lifelong. It doesn't have necessarily just a one starting point and an ending point. It has something that continues on and on. I want to define that for you. I want you to understand it this way. A quest is a long and difficult effort to find or to do something. It's the insistence of seeking or making an inquiry. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the insistence of seeking. We're going to go for the rest of January because we're going to be better. We're expecting better, and the theme for January is a better way of life. And we're going to expect this better way of life, so we're going to start on this quest, and we're going to insist on looking at this. And we're going to continue to look at it. We're making up our minds to go forth and seek to have it. And it may be as we seek it, it may not be something that we just opens up its doors and reveals itself. It's going to be long, and it's going to be difficult, and it, at times may be gut-wrenching for you to see what this abundant living is for and what it is. Now, when you look at your Bible and it says abundant life, or I've come that you may have life and you may have it more abundantly, most of the versions are going to read abundant life or abundantly. I'll give you that definition. In the sense of beyond, super abundant, this is the Greek word. It means superiority in quality. By implication, excessive, exceedingly, abundantly above. You get it? Abundantly above. If this is life, Christ says, I've come that you can have a life. And that's good. But I'm going to give you not just above life, I'm going to give you abundantly above life. Okay? Beyond measure, more abundantly, the advantage, exceedingly, very highly beyond measure, superfluous. So what God says for us here is, you've got a life, and you can't even see how good it is. I've got a plan for you, and you just would not imagine, you cannot believe the plans that I have for you. I got some huge plans for you. Your cup's running over plans. I mean superfluous plans. I mean this is the life, this is the good life, and you take that up a notch, and then another notch, and another notch, and that's the life I've got for you. But you don't see it. Since you say you see, since you say you got it, since you say we're found, your sin remains. You're the blind one. You're overlooking it. You got these truths laid out and finding out that God has a plan, that there's a battle going on. And here's the worst part about that here is that a lot of us are losing it. A lot of us are losing this battle. Look at Matthew 9. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion because they were harassed and helpless like a sheep without a shepherd. Notice the context. Sheep, shepherd. John 10, what are we talking about? The good shepherd. That's what he's talking about. The thief comes in only to steal and to kill. But the shepherd has life more abundantly. If you just look and follow him. That's all right. Look and follow him. Look and follow him. It's a quest. So to do that, the next few Sundays we're going to look at it. There's going to be some questions we got to ask. There's going to be some things that we got to get to. We got to take a personal inventory of things. We're going to have to uncover some things. We got to look really at some of life's most important questions that you look at and you think, well, simple. But in the end, they're a lot more complex than you might think. The first question that you got to ask, who are you? I mean, just really, who are you? Okay? So you take a good long look at yourself this morning. You think, well, that's easy. That's easy. You might draw a little line and say, out and you write your name. I know who I am. That's an easy one. Well, when you look at the blind man, it wasn't such an easy question, was it? Who are you, Mr. Blind Man? Well, I'm the guy who sat and begged. Really? Or do you just look like him? Is that really you? Or is that somebody else that looks like you? Surely that's not you. It's not as easy a question as you might think. Because here's the reason. A lot of us, we wear so many masks. We wear so many masks of different things. And there's so many different things to different people. And so many times we think we're something that we're really not. That we get lost. We get lost in all of the roles that we play. And we really forget just who we are. Let's just give you. Let's just look at me. Who am I? Well, I'm Rick. I'm a preacher. And I'm here. I'm Matt. I'm a Bible teacher. I'm Matt. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I want to be a husband. I want to be a father. I really want to be a good preacher. I want to be those things. I try. What am I? I'm a sinner. That's what I am. I'm a sinner. I know you've seen those shows, The Biggest Loser. I think that the name of the title is The Biggest Loser. Although if you win, you are the biggest loser. Showing through some clips, remote caught on there and watching it. And this one woman stood up there. She was overweight. She was wearing those tight sports bra and spandex shorts. She had all this fat rolls going out all over the place. And as she got up there to the scales, she stood on the scales, and she just broke down and started crying. The guy said, "Why are you crying?" She says, "Because my entire life, I've tried to hide this. I don't want people to see this. But this is really who I am. The clothes don't cover it up. And as I come and I stand on this scale, as I look at the numbers, and as I stand before you, the good, the bad, the fat, the ugly, as it's all out here, I am so naked and exposed." And this is what she said. "And everybody sees who I really am." Just think about that. I don't know what she did for a living. I don't know what she paid. I didn't watch the show all night. That didn't matter. The point was, she is a normal, everyday American who got on the scale, regardless of the weight issue. I'm not even talking about the weight issue. I'm talking about being vulnerable, being stripped down, looking at the concept of having no mask, having nothing to cover up. It's right there, and everybody in America can see exactly who and what she is. And she herself couldn't believe it. Because she didn't want to believe it. See, some of us in the church, we have got to strip down. We got to take these layers of, not clothes off, we got to take these layers of masks off, of costumes that we wear, of God. Cool thing is, He knows. Look here real quick. Look at Psalm 139. Look at this. He knows. Psalm 139. Listen to what He says here. David says, "Oh Lord, you have searched me, you know my sitting down, you know my rising up, you understand my thoughts and my far off. You comprehend my path, my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. For there is not a word on my tongue, but behold, O Lord, you know it all together. You have hedged me behind and before, and you have laid your hand upon me." How many of you last night went to God in prayer this morning, went to God in prayer, even maybe yesterday morning, or maybe Friday morning, maybe you didn't pray at all, maybe you went Thursday. When you prayed to God. And you let this great ornate prayer of words and you said those things. How many of you think God looked at that, heard your prayer, and then maybe shook his head and said, "Why don't you just get rid of all that and just be who you are? Don't pretend. Just be." You got to ask yourself a question. Before you have an abundant life, you got to realize who you are. And not only that, you got to go a little deeper than that. You got to look at not just who you are, you got to look at what are you. Who are you? Continuing in Psalm 139. Looking at verse 13 through 16. David says to God, "For you formed my inward parts. You covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, that my soul knows very well. My frame was not hidden from you, when I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Your eyes saw my substance, yet being informed, and in your book they are written, the days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none of them." Now, if you want to, on a side note, if you want to have a passage in your mind to know when life exists, when is life for abortion? It's this right here. I formed you when you were in your parts. God formed us in the womb. He shaped us. He knew all of these things about us. When our frame was hidden, we were skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. See, some of us, we don't have a clue who we are. So we don't even have anywhere near the idea of what we are. Yet God says, "I have made you for something." See, nothing has ever been made. Nothing has ever been created to have no purpose. To have no purpose. You ever seen a manufacturer make something and just make it and then try to sell it and say, "Well, what is it?" Well, it's funny. I don't know what it is. You know, it's just, I just formed it. I made it. It's there. It's not art. It's not to look at, to enjoy. It has really no purpose, but I'll sell it to you for $19.95. You can have it. What does it do? It really does nothing. It has no purpose. See, manufacturers don't make things up. They make things that have a purpose. You may think they don't have a purpose, but they do. You have a purpose. God made you before you even could think. He started placing the DNA and the cells together in your mother's womb from you and your father, and He shaped you and He formed you. And when He did, He said, "Now you are made for me to do the right." You realize it, right? You were made to do this. What are you? You got to ask yourself, who am I? What am I? Maybe it's fear, maybe it's laziness, maybe it's bad decisions, maybe it's compromise, maybe even success that's kept you from achieving your goal. But if you're not happy, if you don't have that abundant life, if you don't have that life that's running over, then maybe you need to ask start embracing the possibilities of what we could do. And see what God has in store for us. What we're doing for those opportunities. Paul says in 1 Corinthians 13, when I was a child, I spake as a child, I thought as a child. Verse 11, I understood as a child. But when I became a man, I threw away childish things. Today, some of you need to step up and become a man and become a woman. You need to step up and understand who you are, what you are, and where you are in relation to God's plan for your life. And if you're not living up to that standard that He set forth for you, if you're not having that abundant life, you can't blame others. You got to look at yourself and see where you are. And then once you do that, then you got to ask yourself the simple question that really is the build-up of the whole lesson here. What do you want? What is it that you really want? What is it that you really want out of life? I mean, the blind man, he wanted people to see, yes, it's me. This is who I am. This is probably the most difficult question of all. What do you want out of your life? What do you want out of your parents? What do you want out of your kids? What do you want your life to be like? What do you want out of these things? Most people don't even know what they want. Church, we need to stop letting life just happen to us, and we need to start making it happen. You know, stop letting life just happen and make it happen. We put on the sign a little slogan from Star Wars and Yoda and others. Don't try. There is no try. You just do it. Psalm 37, very quickly when we look at this, in Psalm 37, 3 through 7. This is what David tells us. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land, be of faithfulness, delight yourself also in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your ways to Him, trust also in Him, and He shall bring it to pass. You see that? If you know who you are, if you know what you are, if you know where you are in relation to that plan, and then if you know what you want, where you want to go with what you want out of life, if you want that abundant life, God says, if you commit your ways to me, if you trust me, if you do what I ask, man, I'm going to give it to you. Now, I'm not talking about health and love gospel. I'm not going to say, God, I want to win that Powerball tomorrow. I want to win that $1 billion Powerball. I'm going to take all the year and I'm going to take an issue and I'm going to drive down to St. Joe and I'm going to buy me a Powerball ticket and I'm going to win that $1 billion and I'll give you maybe a couple $100,000. No, that's not what I'm talking about. It's not a health and love gospel. What I'm saying is, God says, if you want this out of life, if you want to have a good life for me, if you want to have a life that you're tired of saying, that's what I want to be, then commit your ways to God, trust Him, follow His guidelines, and that's what you will become. I have a plan. That blind man, you think he wanted to be blind the rest of his life? No. God made him see. If He can make a blind man see, He can change the course of your life. Now, all that said, we're finished up, we've been done, and all that said, once you ask yourself those questions, once you ask yourself, and you want to have that abundant life, and what you see, and we're making these steps on this quest for this abundant life. You understand who you are, what you are, where you are, and what you want. Once you understand that, then the second truth of the 12 we'll look at over the course of the next few weeks is you got to own it. You got to own it. When you walk out of my office, I got a little chalkboard, and that's what I wrote on my board for the week, beginning of the week, is to own it. Once you uncover what you are, who you are, what you want out of life, you need to own up to it. You need to start living it. Okay? Go to John chapter 5. We're going to see it's a very similar story. Instead of the blind man, we got a lame man here. In this lame man story, Jesus comes up to this man, and this is what he says. He's from the same point. I bet that man's prayed every day, Lord, I don't want to be lame anymore. I want to be able to see like the blind. I want to be able to do these things. Verse 2, there was Now, a certain man who had an infirmity for 38 years, he was lame for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had already been in that condition a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" For years I looked at that and I thought, what a stupid question. Jesus, really? You know the answer to it, but then you're going to have to ask the man sitting there at that place to be made well, and he's trying to get in, and he can't. And Jesus says, "Sir, do you want to get better?" And that's what the man does. Listen to what he says. "Sir, I have nobody put me in the pool or the water, sir, but while I'm coming in, another steps in before you." Jesus said, "Rise, take up your bed and walk." Immediately the man was made well, took up his bed and walked. And that day was the Sabbath also. Jesus said, "Sir, do you want to be made well? Do you want to be made well?" "Yeah, I want to be made well." "Can't you tell? Can't you tell? That's why I'm here. I'm in church. I want to be made well. Do you want to be made well?" "Oh, I can't because my boss won't help me with this matter. Or my family, well, they don't do this. Or my situation, I got this illness and all this stuff. I got all these things wrong." And we make excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. Do you want an abundant life? If you are here today and you want that life running over, superfluous, you want the life, the good life, and then the life that God has planned for you to have, and knowing that He has planned, and you know who you are, you know what you are, you know where you are in relation to it, and you know what you really want out of life, then you need to own up to it and do it exactly what Jesus said to this man. What He said? Get up and walk. That's all He said. Get up and walk. Do you want an abundant life this morning? We need to own up to it. We need to change our life. To look inside yourself. Determine who you are, what you are, who you are. And get up and come down the aisle. You are responsible for your actions. The blood of Jesus is here to take away your sin. But it can't do a thing if you don't allow it. The blood of Jesus is here to give you the power to move on, to fight your battles. The prayers of the church are here to push you, give you that extra incentive to go. But it won't do you a bit of good unless you ask for it. You know that. Do you wish to get well? You got to live that abundant life? If you do, rise, take up your bed. As we stand.
Shine, Jesus, shine, fill this land with the Father's glory. Blaze, Spirit, blaze, set our hearts on fire. Flow, river, flow, flood the nations with grace and mercy. Set